only have a problem. I've noticed that for all the beautiful, lacy, pleated, high-collared shirtwaists I have made for this channel, I don't really reach for them. So today, we are remedying that by making something much simpler, more in line with what I would actually reach for, hopefully. To help me in this endeavor, I have this beautiful Indian hand-blocked and very lightweight cotton that has lived in my stash for many years. I want to say that it is plant dyed with indigo, but I can't actually remember and I can't find the order confirmation, so mystery. My pattern here was at one point gleaned from an old blouse of mine many years ago and changed in many small ways over the years to fit me better. Hello! I have just roughly pinned my pattern pieces to my fabric because this is quite a bit narrower than what is standard these days. I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't have enough fabric, but it actually looks like it's perfect. I will have to cut a little bit. I lengthened the original pattern quite a bit just because I like having a bit of extra length to tuck into skirts and what have you. But if I just take out some of that length again, it is just about long enough to do everything that I need. And then we have room for a yoke over here. This little collar I was either going to do in, bias tape, or what I think I can do is just sort of scooch this front piece a little bit further towards the selvage and then pull this one double and tuck that into the armhole like so and actually get the curve. And you see I'm only missing a little bit here for that to work, so that's excellent. I think that's going to be very good without wasting more fabric than necessary on curvy things. And then I have pretty much this entire length of selvage on either side for, buttonhole plackets and cuffs and whatever else I might need some straight fabric for. So turns out this piece of fabric was perfect for what I intended to use it for in the end after many years. So now, resist the urge to do everything by hand. This was supposed to be a quick little project. After stitching the sleeves almost all the way down, I am adding just the tiniest of plackets. And you know what, Madam Voice? I will hand stitch if I want to. I really do hope this is dyed with indigo, but even if it isn't, I still wish to share with you. I had this incredible conversation with Michelle from iZomi Textiles, not sponsored, but their work is awesome. I'll leave a link in the description. And he talked about how samurais in Japan would wear indigo dyed undershirts close to their skin, because they had noticed how wounds seemed to heal cleaner and faster when they did. Something that is getting backed up by science, which is just so cool. Anyway, sleeves. While we are here, why don't we go all the way and decide on some closures? This isn't a historical make by any stretch of the imagination, so I might just have a look in my modern stash. Did you also have that thing where if people learn that you like making things, they will start offering you tools and materials, such as someone's grandmother's or great-aunt's button stash that they didn't know what to do with? Which is why I have a veritable pile of tiny plastic buttons. I am making a start on the body by attaching our back piece to the back yoke with a few pleats. This cotton has a gorgeous hand-woven selvage edge, so you know I'm going to use that where I can, both for added structure and ease of finishing some seams. Before we give the same treatment to both the side and shoulder seams. Feeling mad with this modern make, I am folding back what will become the button and buttonhole placket. Even though there is no placket to speak of, I just left enough width in the pattern piece, which is stitched down visibly and expediently. And why not? While we are at it, let us fold up and stitch the hem as well. To give room for the bust, this blouse is cut with extra width in the front, which needs to be taken in around the neckline. I know I said this was going to be a simple daily wear project, but what about we embellish just a teensy tiny bit? Some smocking, perhaps. Okay, so hello, madam. I made a little test piece because, I have never done this technique before, so as fun as it would be to do this straight on the blouse, it would be nice to have a blouse that was nice and usable. So, it's so stretchy. This is fun. But yeah, I think the honeycomb bit is a little bit thick, so I think I might reduce the width of the pleats by just a little bit, or by half more like. But yeah, I think we are more or less ready to get started on the main body. I'm going to use blue pen because I have blue pattern details, so when things bleed through, it's probably, hopefully, going to be less noticeable because I tried using a pencil for this one and it was a bit of a hassle. So let's draw some grids. Having dotted my fabric the best I can, I am running multiple gathering threads through our grid, which we can then pull taut and fasten temporarily. Just while we stitch our honeycomb with blue silk from an old weaving warp. For honeycomb smocking, we'll want to catch 2 pleats at a time, alternating between the 2. To be honest, I was pleasantly surprised to see just how quickly it came together once the gathers were in place, although I do see the benefit of using a tighter woven fabric. It was very easy to pull my loosely woven cotton out of shape. Okay, moment of truth. We now need to extract all these gathering threads and see what we end up with, which, in retrospect, I clearly should have done in a contrasting thread, but oh well. I know it's wonky and uneven, but I'm gonna go ahead and say not too bad for a first try. All that in place, we can move on to the neckline. It is so painfully clear to me that even though I am slowing the process down by doing several things by hand and smocking, even a relatively simple garment like this has a whole slew of different pieces and skills required, and just takes several hours to assemble. It really makes you wonder how we went from clothing being some of the absolutely most valuable things the average person owned to fast fashion and garment workers making next to nothing. Personal ponderings tucked away in our neckline, we have only one thing left to do before the closures, and that is attaching the sleeves. These are pretty simple, with about 3/4 of the sleeve pinned and the last part gathered on top to make the tiniest of puffs. Because the sleeve seam is often a bit finicky to fold down any which way in a neat fashion, I thought I would try to bind the seam allowance with a narrow strip of fabric instead, and I kind of love it. We would finish sleeves like this again. Which means we only have the front closures left to do. And like the marvelous supervisor she is, Madame deigns us with her presence this last leg of the journey. This has got to be one of the most summery of summer outfits I have ever worn, though I must admit, all the white is making my clumsy self very nervous. I don't own a lot of patterned things, but this one is cute. Ready for the eternally predictable Norwegian summers.